service and collaboration. And also just before we go into any announcements, if anybody here has a connection to the Modesto Bee, come see me after the meeting. I have been diligently calling and trying to get them to come do basically like an article, come see what we're all about, take photos of our meeting, maybe interview a few people that attend, just in an effort to continue to get the word out. So if anybody has a connection there, see me after the meeting. Okay, so and any announcements? Anybody have? Yes. Do you want the microphone? Are you gonna? Yes. Hello, Jeannie. Hello, Jeannie.
I no longer with a place for mom. My husband and I started our own referral agency about 4 weeks ago, and we cover all. The computer system allows us to speak directly with the Department of Licensing for all assisted living, boarding cares, independent living, and memory cares in California. Where I only had 2,100 places I could refer to before, I now have close to 5,000 that I can refer to.
Wow.
So, and it's my husband, David.
Oh, welcome, David. Now you guys definitely have to go say hello because it's Jeannie's husband.
And the name of our company is called Blue Magnolias Limited Advisors. Blue because our 5-year-old grandson who we are taking care of is his favorite color, and he tells us that probably no less than 50 to 60 times a day. So Magnolia is one of the oldest flowering trees.
Oh, we love that. Love names with special meanings.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Anybody else? Yes. Are you a yeller? Yes, you're gonna yell.
Next month we are hosting the yes. So inviting everybody to come and join us. I will go around and give the flyers and also I'll give it to Amy to post it in an email. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? Any other announcements? Oh,
Right over here.
oh, yes, yes, go ahead.
The Stratford Unit Compass was our second annual trip, and I know a lot of guys came last year. It was a really good time. It's going to be on March 7th from 5 to 7. It's in celebration of International Women's Day, which is my favorite holiday. Right? So I'm going to put invites out on the table. Please RSVP. It was a very popular event last year, and there's only limited space. So RSVP as soon as you can, and we look forward to being there.
Hey, thank you. Thank you. I'm loving that people are announcing their events today. Yay. Yes.
Julie, my partner here in Owens, has a seminar going on in O'Connor Woods this Saturday from 10 on, and we're gonna have breakfast and great discussion with some attorneys talking about trust and estates, financial advisors who's gonna talk real estate planning, and then Marianne will be talking about O'Connor Woods. Love to really have you bring some seniors who can really use super valuable advice. If they're selling their house, they don't know if they've got money, maybe they've got trust, and we see a lot of trust go wrong and bad and not done correctly. I highly recommend you bring your seniors for peace.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. Anybody else? Nope, we're all good. Okay. And don't forget to any brochures, announcements, flyers, put them up here on the information table. That way everybody can come take a look after our meeting today and grab the information that they are interested in. So we are so excited to have our very own Ollie Becker. He's going to be presenting today, he and his team at Home Helpers. They're going to be sharing with us more about their services and how they are utilizing technology to help older adults stay in their homes longer. So take it away, Ollie.
Okay, thank you. It's a super pleasure to be able to be here with the Older Adult Collaboration Group of Stanislaus County. Home Helpers really thanks for having us out today. And one of the things, and I've spoke here before, and when you go to a place, you never want somebody to take a long time. So the first time I speak at a conference, I always take my watch off. The second time I speak at a conference, I set the timer. The third time I speak at a conference, I start the timer. Now, I'm not going to do it. Usually what I would do 10 years ago is break the pencil. So one pencil can very easily be broken, okay? I used to be able to take 20 years ago to do 2 pencils. I was never brave enough to take and try to do 3 pencils, okay? So I did a little bit of research about sticks, and what I found is a Kenyan old prophet that a bundle of sticks can't be broke. And basically, as an individual here, we can get wore down out there. When we come together to help seniors, and everybody's working for the same common goal of helping the senior, we can take and be very successful for the senior. I appreciate the collaboration that we have with some of you already. And if anybody else it would like to collaborate with us, we're happy to take and discuss that with you. Now, today, I've got June Rader here. She's one of our, would you, June, stand up? She's one of our care coordinators and starts cases for us. And June happens to be a published author on Alzheimer's disease and a member of the Alzheimer's Association. And I was talking with Dignity and Grace, which is the fellowship of Princess Magazine. And this magazine is the largest reorder magazine that they've had because of her article. Other home care agencies throughout the United States are taking and using it. So in your packages on the table is a reprint of the article that June did on Alzheimer's. And the thing that's most interesting, I think, in there is the picture of the brain. When you look at a 2-year-old brain, it looks like a couple of walnuts. When you look at a full brain, it looks like it's a complete watermelon in there. When you look at a dementia brain, stage 3 or 4, it's in a situation looking kind of like a grapefruit. So that kind of explains how the Alzheimer's person is a happy, content person in their own little world. And June is probably one of the best people that we ever take and have for teaching people how to work with people that have got Alzheimer's. So for example, if they say something's green and it's yellow, you agree with them that it's a nice shade, okay? And just go on down the road. The other thing that is very, June, thank you, you can sit down. And alongside of her is Felicia Rose. Felicia Rose works in the office. If you ever call her, she answers the phone a lot of times. And we have a new executive director. She's got 16 years as a school administrator and then 2 years in home care. And we just recently acquired her to our team in January. So basically what I told her the other day was at lunch, I said, what you did was you went from working with little kids to now working with big kids. Okay. Okay, so now let me see if I got this running. It was working a second ago. What did I do wrong? I'm sorry? Okay. The meeting's being recorded. I got to do something there to get rid of that? No. No. I did something. This one? Okay. Okay, so we're home helpers in Manteca, and it's owned by my wife and myself, and I'm accredited senior advisor, and I'm dual accredited. Home Helpers has been around since 1997, and they've delivered over 100 million hours of care nationwide in their 27 years. And our goal is for every senior to be able to stay in their home as long as it's possible. Now, this lady on the left here is Emma Dickinson. She's our CEO. A lot of times in organizations, CEOs come and go. We've been around 27 years. She's been the CEO for 17 years. Hayden, the gentleman with the beard that's taller than I am, he runs basically 25 regions for home helpers in the United States. And we were in Charleston, South Carolina, opening his 25th office last year. And then the cute little one in the middle is my wife of 54 years, Timmy. And there's nothing that Timmy wouldn't do for a client or for a caregiver. She's got the biggest heart going. We went through a situation 5 years ago. Our son developed brain cancer. So we experienced having caregivers for a year, and we ended up having hospice for 3 months. And that's what kind of motivated us to take and do this legacy project. My background, I used to take and run a 4,000 bed facility in New York for mental health. And when we were there, we started taking and doing community services and started community group homes. So coming to California, having the opportunity to get back and to do a legacy project has been something that we've been very excited about. Now, this is my grandfather. I was brought up in the caregiving industry. We had restaurants and hotels, so we were always in public service. My grandfather was a double amputee. Back in the 60s, transfer boards and things didn't exist. So our idea of a transfer board to get him from the wheelchair to his car was a piece of 2x12 or 2x16. And that's my two boys there, Oliver and Travis. And you can see I had hair, so that was a while ago. I wish I had a little bit of it today, okay? And then my wife, in her family, her mother believed that nobody should be left alone at the end of life. So they took the library in their house and they converted it to a hospice area. And over her lifetime, they had 11 family members come in and deceased in the house. So she was brought up with a caring demeanor and has always been in service. So the problem with Timmy, somebody talks to her on the phone and I'll go out to do an assessment and they're like, well, where's Timmy, right? And I'm like, well, she's not with me, okay? So what I want to talk about is how Home Helpers is in the industry of home care, but we're a little bit different than other home care agencies. First of all, we look for the medically complex cases. And when we go out, we don't know if it's a medically complex case or not. So we start off with 4 levels of care. Our level 1 is monitoring. I'm going to get into that a little bit later. And this is our smart hub. And basically all you do with it, take it in the house, plug it in, it talks to you. We're going to deal with that a little bit later on. Then we have level 2, which is basically companion care. And everybody here knows what companion care is. We go out to the home, we take care of whatever they need. One of the big things in companion care, I had an interesting client. He was in Manteca. Comes home, he's got his Escalade, he has no front fender on it, okay? So the family's like, whoa, we got to do something here with Dad. So they call us up, and the moral of the story there, the police never came, nobody ever knew what happened to the front fender on the car. So we go in, he's Italian, and doesn't want a caregiver. And so he sits on the couch, and the caregiver sits on the couch on the other end, and I'm like, oh, this might not go well. So a couple of weeks later, I was doing a resurvey, and in that resurvey, I go in the house, I'm smelling great sauce. They've been up to the Lockford sausage place, got Lockford sausage cooking with onion and peppers, tomato sauce. Then they're in a situation where they've got puzzles. And the first time he did a wood puzzle, took him about 40 minutes to an hour to put a 6-piece puzzle together. A year later, he's doing a 100-piece puzzle over a couple of weeks with the caregiver of Mustangs. The guy was a car guy. So then when they got done doing the puzzle, they shellacked it, and then we put it up in a picture frame, put it on a wall. I'm not going to bore you with more about the story with him, but fast forward another year with this client, the family's going to put him in a facility. So at that point, they're going to have the family weekend before he goes. At that point, we give the caregiver off for the holiday weekend. Great. 10 o'clock, I get a phone call. Ollie, where's the caregiver? I said, we gave him off for the weekend, right? He says, no. He says, Dad's over here, wants us to leave if we don't get the caregiver here, so you got to get him here. So an hour later, I show up, we bring a caregiver. Dad was so attached to the caregiver that if he didn't have a caregiver there, he didn't want the family there, okay? So that year, they built an Italian garden in the back because they didn't want him gardening, okay? the Home Depot bill got to be over $3,000. It was almost like, could I come over here and just read and study, do a little meditation? It was fantastic, okay? The other thing that happened is we have an elder law attorney who's going to be talking to you guys in a couple months. And he's over in Tracy. And basically his father needed some care. And his wife and her sister are both registered nurses. So we go over, we get the case. And about 6 weeks, 8 weeks into it, Jeff calls me and he says, "Hey, Ollie, I got a problem with your agency." I said, "What's the problem with the agency?" He says, "Well, Home Care Pulse, which does the surveys for caregivers and for clients, you give your caregivers a 9 and you only give your clients an 8. And I'm like, "What?" So I hadn't seen the report yet. So I get the report, look at it. In the reports that for us, where the clients didn't like what the caregiver did, it was basically the caregiver didn't cook like their mother did. Okay, so where did I put the clicker? I set it down. There we go. Oops. So, what is caregiving? And, basically everybody here knows what that is, going in at home and taking care of somebody. So what we've done is we've taken and came along in an association with AllCare. What we found in the Central Valley from Lodi down to Merced is a lot of clients can't afford private pay and they don't have long-term care insurance and they look for an alternative. So what we've taken and done with AllCare is brought this unit on. I'm going to talk a little later, but you plug it in and it covers an 1,100 square foot house, first floor and second floor. It's voice activated. So if you say emergency, 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 the call center then calls a client or calls whatever triage we've got set up. And eventually, or it can be set up to call 911 initially. The other thing that we had a problem with was clients with dementia wandering away. And so they have this monitor, press the button, same thing. Now, the alternative on this is the personal device. And we did a survey at Home Helpers nationwide, and we found out that over 80% of the time, people that had personal devices, when they fell, they were in the shower, they didn't have the button or they didn't have the pendant on them. So they'd end up laying there for an hour or so or longer. So what we want to do today is eliminate any senior from having to have a situation where they fall and they don't get picked up for an hour. Does anybody happen to know if you fall and you're over 65 and you don't get up in an hour, how much that shortens your life? 6 months, okay? So today our goal is if we can help one senior, they can extend their life by 6 months of quality living. Would that be a good thing? Can I get a yes on that? How many people like to do that? Raise your hands. The second thing that we want to do is make sure that people are safe. So this is something that we brought on board to do that, and it has been working fantastic. I should keep this in my hand, I'm sorry. Okay. Oops, I'm looking at it, it didn't move, sorry about that. Okay, the nice thing about the Smart Hub, as I just said, it'll learn an 1,100 square foot house. And basically it's kind of smart IA learning. So if you get up during the night, like I do once or twice to go to the bathroom, it tracks that. If all of a sudden I was getting up 4 times a night, it also tracks that. When we get to it, I'm going to show you a dashboard where that comes up. So we've had clients that got up 2 times a night, all of a sudden getting up 4 or 6 times, they get a UTI. So this gives us the ability to do it. You ask the client if they're getting up, they say no, okay? And then we have an app and a dashboard. And 5 years ago, if you'd have talked about an app and a dashboard, I would have had no clue what it is. Today, caregivers live by that because that's how they get paid, okay? And everybody here's got it. So your offices, if the client gives you permission and they have this, can take and monitor it. So we monitor it. Now, our call center is back in Cincinnati, And a lot of times, guys will take and call a call center and they're like, just checking in today. So they'll do what's called a wellness call. And I was back in Cincinnati at the call center and this guy kept calling back. And I'm like, why is the guy calling in 3-4 times? And they all laughed. They said, he's calling for Teresa. So what happens is clients get this, they get lonely in the afternoon, they want to do a wellness call. They'll keep calling back until they get the person, the operator on the phone that they want to talk to. The other thing that happens is they have a backup call center in Tennessee. So in the event of a storm, snow, rain, everything's got backup on it. So the device itself has got a motion detector. So if you've got a larger home than 1,100 square feet, we can do that. Or if you got like a triple wide in a mobile home. And then it's got the traditional wristband you can wash with the button if you'd like it. We don't use that a lot because you have to have internet. The nice thing about this unit, excuse me, is we got it set up with AT&T so that they don't have to have internet in their home for it to work. And then if they're wearing this one, any place they go with AT&T, they've got the service available. So basically, when we set the program up, we have an account owner and then primary people, and we can have 100 people on it. So if there's a situation and the family wants 6 or 7 people to be notified, we can do it. If the family only wants 3 people to be notified, we can do it. Like, for example, my grandfather had a double amputee. He was a brittle diabetic. So every time he needed a candy bar, he'd end up going to the hospital. Well, the first time we went to the hospital, we had like 24 family members there. Second time we went to the hospital, we had about 12. Third time we went to the hospital, I think we were down to about 8. Fourth time or fifth time he went to the hospital, it was me and my uncles. And then by the time he expired, it was like my uncle and me were the only 2 people that showed up at the hospital. So over a 2-year period, Colin Wolf went from 24 to 2 people. So this can eliminate that situation based on what the family needs. So this is an example of how it takes and learns. So the longer it's in a house, 30, 40, 60 days, it learns the patterns of the house. The other thing that we just added to it, it's got a temperature control. So we can set the bottom temperature at 70 degrees, 74 degrees. If the furnace goes out, we get a red alert on that. We can set it on the top end, 98 degrees, 96 degrees. Their AC goes out, we get an alert on. So we can create a much safer environment for all of the clients that have currently got it. And then for the people that are into computers, the algorithm tracks it back and forth. I like it when you get the picture on it, okay? Tabitha, who's our new executive director, she's not here today. She came down sick last night. She put this PowerPoint together. She gets into these graphs and she'll spend 15, 20 minutes. Look at this, what happened here on Tuesday. Look at this, what happened on Friday. And I'm like, whatever you say, Tabitha. Here's what I like is the graphs like this. So you can take and see what's going on and it makes it very, very easy. So any information on this, if they give you permission, you can have it. So a lot of times in a facility, if somebody doesn't show up at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning for breakfast, they got to go to a room to check on, okay? A lot of facilities got fault detection devices and stuff in it. We don't want to compete with that. But if a client wants this and they give it the facility information about it, they can then have it at their desk. They don't have to go see if Mary's up on the 3rd floor. They can just check their dashboard. And the family of care can take and go out as big or as small as you want. You can just have the power of attorney on there. You can have the next of kin on there. You can have it. So any way that works for the client is the way that we can take and set it up. Oh, let me go back. What I like about this here, and I had this experience with my grandfather, is you would roll the ambulance, they would get there and then they want to know the medication and everything. So in here, we load all the medication in there. For example, let's say a family's got a lockbox, so you need a code to get through a gate. We can tell the people where the lockbox is, what the code is to get through the gate. So when the ambulance people get there, they've already got that information. I've talked to a couple METs, and they love the fact that when they get to a case, they don't have to ask questions or wait on it. They know what it is. And the do not resuscitate can be recorded there for them. So it improves the quality of life for everybody. And then you've got all kinds of settings on it. Tabitha's not here today. I'm not going to try and get into it. So you can set the Smart Hub up for sensitivity. So like, for example, on an earlier version of it, we had help instead of emergency. So what would happen if you had a TV show on and somebody yelled help, okay? We're getting a flag, okay? So this is an evolution over the last 5 years of taking and working on this. Same thing with the care button. So if somebody is real weak, it can be just a light touch. If somebody's got a cat or a dog that plays with them, it needs to be heavier, we can adjust it. So all of the problems that have occurred have been taken and addressed by AlloCare and home helpers. Okay, if anybody's got any questions, I'd be happy to take and answer them. Otherwise, I am complete. Yes.
It's really neat to see how like the technology and AI is really playing a key role in what you guys are doing. And I'm curious if you guys have noticed like an increase in like satisfaction with your clients or quality of health, or what do you feel like that impact has been for your business?
Yeah, I'll give you an example. We have a client and the family's in LA, okay? The family checks the dashboard probably daily, if not every other day. If there's a blip, they're calling on it, okay? The mother's got dementia. Originally, we started out at 24 hours a day. We were able to back it down to a 7 or 8 hour a day case because mom can get up around and mom feels comfortable with it. We got things locked up pretty well. So we've seen a great level of increase with the clients as a result of it. So if anybody's interested in it, we're going to stay around a little longer. Happy to give you information on it or what we do. And it's been a pleasure being here. Thank you. How do I want to take that off?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much, Ollie. Appreciate that. And Amy, you want to head on up? We'll do the raffle. I think those are our prizes over there. Yeah. We'll just stand over there. Easier. Oh, okay. Perfect. We have an array of orchids today. All right. Oh, yes. Do not miss out. Anybody else? Okay. Got it? Okay. All right. David Gonzalez. Perfect. You can get that to your special lady and she'll think you're amazing today. Huh? I know, yeah, to save it for Valentine's. Okay. Laura Hancock. Congratulations. I love all the colors. Ooh, wine and chocolates. Okay. Oh. Shelby Cables or Cabills. I'm sorry if I slaughtered your last name there. Oh, yes, perfect. Thank you. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right, last one. Sean Montgomery. All right, congratulations. Perfect. And then Ollie's got a couple more comments for us.
One thing on caregivers, we just took and completed one of the differences is a lot of training. And in the last 5 months, we've had 34 caregivers go through a grant program that we have. And they've received over $100,000 worth of additional training in in-home care, about 35 hours. So basically they got a $1,400 check in the month of December to go Christmas shopping with. And they're getting a $1,000 check in the month of January to pay off the credit card bills from December. Being a business owner, I don't like to spend money, so we didn't pay for that. Okay, that's why we did a grant. We don't have to increase cost. The other thing is Tabitha talked to me last night, and she wanted to provide 2 months free AlloCare for anybody from here that recommended that became a client of ours. So she's not here. I want to extend that offer to you. So if anybody's here today who's got a client that wants us to go on service, we're going to give them 2 months AlloCare at no fee to them.
Thank you. All right. So next month, we are going to be here again, Thursday, March 14th, 10 a.m. We're going to be hearing from Ashurna. I guess she goes by Ash Ortega from Stockton Regional Rehabilitation Hospital, and how their services are benefiting those here in Stanislaus County with their acute rehabilitation needs. So mark your calendars to join us. Don't forget to grab the flyers on your tables to take and share back in your communities. Come on up and grab information up here from our information table. And again, thank you to Jan and Sherpa for Community Hospice for hosting us. Have a fabulous